12:43 a.m. on the 20th of November in 2018, and the readings are fairly low right now. Fairly low EMF readings. Oh. Sorry if this is triggering for anyone. These pristine lungs just can't take it. No, one thing I found to be helpful in shielding myself from black magic was the smudge ceremony of the Native Americans. Now, they burn various dried herbs, such as sweetgrass or sagebrush, all wrapped up in a bundle. Also, cedar bark, or was it the branches? I don't know. There's a variety of other herbs that people actually inhale, the smoke of, and then, or they use it, around their bodies as a hedge of protection, charcoal is very porous. Charcoal is the smoke particles. I mean, they're in part uh, charcoal, and I mean they're even more finely crossled. Those fine little and purified, in a sense. Um, so they're going to be absorbative. They're going to spin the electromagnetic waves, out of sequence, and and partially entrap them and malform them, and so on their little journey. Uh, you know, so I think. I mean, I seem to have some protective effect. When I was in the hospital, we would do a smudge ceremony on a fairly regular basis. Is something you volunteered for, you signed up for, and it seemed to help a bit. I mean, they were, the security folks were, out in the parking lot, evidently. I don't know, and they were using a microwave emitter from like I don't know, 60 feet maybe. So I mean, I was getting programmed and dream manipulation. Certainly. Um, I previewed certain events, certain things that did subsequently happen, and they sparked some remembrances of other stuff I had previsioned long ago, and you know this VR stuff. And anyway, but as for like wearing reptile skin, my this is my new recommendation. Becoming at least in a passing way, taking on some of the characteristics of a predatory animal. That might, I mean, for somebody who's a prey item, clearly, I mean that might help. And there's got to be, I mean, reasons for why it's so expensive. You know, like esoteric reasons, occult reasons. You know, it's not pseudoscience. Just because a lot of this stuff is ill studied, and it's or if it was researched, a lot of this stuff is very obscure. Uh, for a lot of obvious reasons. So I mean, that's oh boy. Ugh. Vanity is not appealing. It's not at all appealing in a man, in a woman. Women who paint their faces, who heavily, especially heavily, make themselves up. It's like you're not even dealing with a real actual human being. You know, one has the sense that one is dealing with an android or something, and it is especially the case when they wear like high heels. Because it makes them move in an unnatural way, and there's a whole element of that they seem to be trying to domineer, a domineering aspect to them, when they're all stilted like that, you know. So it's intimidating, I found, Yeah, I like it, when women, move like human beings because, and they look like human beings, and you can see the quality of their skin and different things. Yeah, that's always, that humanizes them, And for somebody like me, who's heavily traumatized, I need to, be reminded that they're human, Right. So so naturally, due to the trauma I suffered, I have a certain I have a certain attraction to sort of androgynous women because they just seem more human, more relatable, to me anyhow. I don't know, I find I narrow in on the feminine elements of them, and I'm searching for those things, and I don't know, it allows me to bypass these injunctions sometimes, you know, and people being bothered like by oh, I don't know, um, legs that are unshaven, or you know, it's just so ridiculous. You know, they you know, they feel very soft. You know, they feel very soft and smooth. It's not even. Jeez. I wish I had a driver's license, you know. It's been like 5 months. No, 4 months. 4 months. Oh, yeah, it's been 5 months. That's how hard, damnably hard it is to get all the documentation together. I should be able to get one this week. Hopefully. Hopefully. No, then I can get a job, you know. Yeah, I'm going to get a job. And, oh, I can go into a bar. Yeah. You know, people got, you know, loosened tongues, and, you know, you can easier to get to know people sometimes. I can go into a dance club where they serve alcohol. Oh, these fuckers. Oh, these fuckers. Yeah, you know, just shrug it off, huh? Just shrug it off, huh? Yeah, you try it, friend. You fucking try it, creep. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah, yeah, keep making fun of me. You're setting up some kind of karmic little trap for yourself, you know. Yeah, mind control is a terrible, terrible thing, and it's, you know, it's at a state of affairs now, you know, where it's just a, you know, a turnkey operation, you know, for all the deplorable low life creeps, you know. So um, yeah, it all gets real stupid, you know, now. Well, you know, a lot of this, the programs are using pretty damn sophisticated, though, very sophisticated, and they got manuals, you know, for different mind control programs, and you know that's an essential thing. You know, one of those will really cost you, and you know, for a limited time only, I'm running this special. Thanks, Fred. Just cut it up real fine, jump in, different filters, all that shit, you know, and have a narration, like as though this is being examined. Hey, how are you? Oh, you're how old are you anyhow? Would you I mean, would you stop and talk to me for a minute? I so okay. Oh, sorry, sorry. Oh man. You know, one thing I would do in the past, and I knew, you know, I was gearing up, you know, trying to strengthen my aura, you know, for these terrible battles, you know, in social engineering. Um, so you know, I would do magnetic qigong. I'd stand on these these barium magnets, these big old barium magnets that are like 3 times as big as my feet, you know, and you know, I'd make sure they were, you know, in contact with the earth. You know, I entrenched them, you know, put a little situated in them in a little trench, and I do the bone marrow cleanse. You know, at least once a day. You know, and that helped. That helped align all these um, neurological pathways, you know. So you're able to harness a lot of chi, you know. They had to really break me down, you know. They had to, but anyway, they got me to do this ballistic headstand out of sheer rage. You know, that's like a really dangerous killing technique, you know, where, you know, you got a downed enemy and you spring and come down, you know, and you crush his rib cage with a headbutt, typically. That, you know, that being the broadest target and so on. But anyway, I did it without the rib cage shock absorber, and you know, with I think I got a lot of hairline fractures in my spine, and I had to use one of those inversion tables, you know, the inversion tables, you know, uh, every day for a few months, you know. But while that was going on, they were reprogramming. Yeah, they were programming the regrowth of my nervous system, my spinal cord, um, with a microwave emitter coming up through the floor. You know, and I tried to put down a ton of shielding, but you know, it was insufficient, and so I had my repulsion field is a lot less strong. You know, I'm really too receptive now to all this garbage, and I'm a bit of a puppet. You know, as though it wasn't bad enough, you know, before. Yeah, see, what had happened was I sat down in this park, and I'd been out in the woods at the edge of town, you know, and I simply had some idea for a poem I was going to write. Sat down, whipped out my notebook out of my backpack. Happened to be carrying about 50 pounds of gear with me that day, and I began writing. I just sat down under this big cedar tree, far away from the path, and I was just writing maybe for 10, 15 minutes, recording some notes and so on, and for different books I was writing at the time. And here come these. I found out there were what 10 and 11 later on. It's so hard for me to know. It's so hard to know how old children are because they all develop at different rates. It's different every time. Each crop is very different, you know. And and it was interesting. They were playing so close to me, you know. When I looked up, when I looked up, they were giving me these sort of these looks like this, as though they were getting a rare glimpse at a very strange monster or something that they did, you know, unlikely to ever, you know, the type they'd be unlikely to ever come across again. What have I done?